la quwwata illa billah. The hadith mentions whoever reads this dua when they leave home, the angels say that this person has been protected, has been guided, and he will be safe. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection is with this person until they come back. So make sure you read that dua. Alright, next thing is the miqat. So the miqat is the boundary that is set by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are different stations where the people from around the world come and enter into the haram. They enter into the sacred, the sanctified places in Mecca. Now, because we are going from Misr, from Egypt to Medina, we don't have to worry about our ihram. Alhamdulillah. We're going to go straight from Egypt to Medina. So we don't have to worry about having the ihram on and making sure and all of that. But this is just letting you know. The place that we are going to leave from is Dhul Hulayfa, as you can see, number 1. That's the miqat, 9 kilometers from Medina. We're going to drive out about 15-20 minutes. And then we're going to stop there. And that is where, if you already don't have your ihram on, we're going to put our ihram on. We're going to wash up there. We're going to pray our 2 rakats. And then we make intention from there. And then we start talbiyah. And that is where everybody must be in ihram from that point on. And then we're going to continue to travel. All right? So from Medina to Makkah, we're going in bus, correct? Yeah, from Medina to Makkah, we're going to be going through bus. But from Makkah to, when are we going to take, are we taking train at all? I forget. Okay, we are taking a train once. I forget which time we're taking the train, but we're going to have to come back to that. That's the smaller thing. Don't worry about all of that. All right, next. This is the miqat for the different people from around the world. For the people of Medina, it's Dhul Hulayfa, Abyar Ali. And that's where we're going to be coming from, inshallah. All right, next. What is the ihram? Simple, plain clothing there. How do you get into the state of ihram? Number 2 is the intention. Ya Allah, I'm making umrah, make it easy for me. And number 3, you're going to start the talbiyah, which is this dua, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. So you're telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, I am here, I am present. And who is taking the attendance in the first place? The Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he called on to all the people to come, for the people to come and visit the house of Allah. And to do the tawaf, and to do the umrah, and to do the hajj. So we are saying, Ya Allah, we are here. You're basically calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling Him that you are now here, and you're longing for this, and you're praising Him, and there is much reward for doing this talbiyah. The Prophet ﷺ and the companions would say this so much, talbiyah, that their mouths would become dry. This is pure ibadah, praise and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're in this state of ihram. This tells you that the state of ihram is no joke. The state of ihram, when a person is in ihram, brothers and sisters, you are in the state of a beggar, as a beggar is. We are going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to beg Him for His mercy, for His rahmah, for His forgiveness. That is the state that we're in. So when you have a beggar, the beggar doesn't really do much argument, doesn't really demand anything. The beggar is very humble, in humility, just asking for his needs. So we are going to ask for our needs. We are going to be in a state of, sometimes your hair becomes disheveled. Obviously, the men are not able to cover their hair. And you become disheveled, you become dusty, you're going through a lot. So, although in our trip, we're only in ihram for maybe 1 day or max 2 days. But when you talk about Hajj, people are, sometimes entire week. And if they're traveling from far lands, sometimes many days. So ihram is a state of, that you are in the state that now everything that was allowed before, certain aspects are not allowed now. You know what I mean? And we'll discuss a little bit more as the things. Preparing for the ihram. Perform ghusl, clip your nails, remove unwanted hair, trim the mustache, leave the beard as it is. Apply perfume to your body, not to the garments. This is what you're going to do in ihram. For the men, it's 2 plain unstitched sheets of fabric. The izhar is not the right way. It's actually izar, which is covering the lower part of the body. And then I'll show you guys how to do the wrapping and all that. Rida, and cover the upper half of the body. All right. Woman's ihram, her regular dress, modest as Islamic teachings. In ihrams, as long as it covers the whole body. Clear? Okay. As you can see, Now in that center picture there, that is ittiba. That right shoulder being exposed there is only during the first 3 rounds of the tawaf. But if somebody is going to keep it on the rest of the time, it is okay. But usually, it's done only in the first 3 rounds of tawaf. So you don't expose the shoulder the entire time. And unfortunately, people don't know this, and so sometimes they're just walking around, sometimes even the top part, they leave it down because they're hot. This is not good. This is against modesty. Ihram, you are, you're in a state of ibadah, you're in a state of humility, so you cover yourself. You understand? Only in the first 3 rounds of tawaf you're going to do this, and there's a certain way that you do it, which we'll come to right now. As you can see, the slippers and the belt is there. Woman's ihram, her normal, it doesn't have to be white like that, this is showing it. Okay, what is forbidden? Here, as you can see. Covering the head for men, shaving or cutting hair, clipping nails. This is while you are in ihram now. Wearing perfume and seamed clothes, socks or shoes. Killing or hunting animals. And on the right, they tell you the penalty for it. That's the fidya or the penalty for doing any of these things. Killing or hunting animals of the land. Kissing or obviously being intimate with your wife. Marrying, getting married, or asking someone for marriage. And of course, again, intimacy to that level. None of this is allowed. In ihram, it breaks your ihram. All right. Now, I guess we're going a little bit. Okay, so coming back to this point, I guess we'll just go in the order of the slides instead of the order that I had in mind. That way, since everybody is focusing on that. So when you're going to start tawaf, obviously you're looking at the Kaaba being the most majestic of buildings on earth, being the same exact place in which Ibrahim, Ismail alayhi salam built with their hands, being the place where the Prophet ﷺ and all the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after Ibrahim Islam had visited. Okay, so this is one of the most sacred of places. Now, this is talking about the Kaaba itself. Hajar al-Aswad as number 1. This is where you're going to start your tawaf from. Okay, from the Hajar al-Aswad. As you can see the rest of it, the doors of the Kaaba, Mizan, Rahma is the actual, it's that little thing where the water comes out from on the top. Multazam, Hatim, these are all parts of the Kaaba. Believe it or not, if you look at number 5, the Hatim, this was actually part of the whole Kaaba. This was closed only from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, then it changed. Then you have the Maqam Ibrahim, number 7. And the one thing I want to mention here, and then I'll continue with the next slide, is if you look at Rukn Yamani, which is number 9. Everybody can see number 9? So when you get to the Rukn Yamani and you're doing tawaf, from that point all the way to the door of the Kaaba, it is a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to read this dua. And this is the greatest of all du'as, the most general of du'as, and one of the most important du'as in the life of a Muslim. And what is that? رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Right? This is the dua that you want to be reading at that point. And if a person doesn't know any other dua and only this dua, then this is sufficient. This is the only dua that they should be making if they don't know anything else. And as you can see, number 13, they're talking about the start and the finish line of the tawaf, basically at the Hajar al-Aswad. All right, this is telling you how do you do the tawaf. So, brothers and sisters, when you come to Makkah, you're going to be coming in dhikr, you're going to be doing talbiyah, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, up to the point where you see the Kaaba. Once you see the Kaaba, you finish your talbiyah and you make dua. Because there are multiple places in the sacred lands of Haramain, both Makkah and Medina, multiple places where duas are accepted. And seeing the Kaaba for the first time, without a doubt, is a moment where dua is accepted. So once you see the Kaaba for the first time in your visit, it doesn't have to be the first time in your life. Because even if a person goes multiple times, seeing the Kaaba again it's just another feeling. You're in a different world, as if, if you may. So it is an incredible feeling. It is an emotional feeling. Make dua at that point, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our dua. Once your dua is done and you have, now you're ready for the Umrah. And Umrah is very simple. Basically, your ihram is the first part. Your tawaf is the second part. Your sa'i between Safa and Marwa is the third part. And the last thing is your clipping the hair, yani trimming or shaving. That's it. That's the entire Umrah. Hajj takes how long? How long does Hajj take? Who can tell me? Hajj takes maybe 5 days, maybe 6 days, maybe more, depending. The last 2 days are optional. Umrah takes how long? 2 hours, maybe less, maybe more, depending on how long you take. Hajj is Umrah is very simple, very quick, but you want to do it nice, you want to do it where you're relaxed. So in case I missed telling you this, once we're traveling from Medina and we reach Mecca, what are we going to do? First thing, our luggage. We want to make sure that our luggage is put away. You get into your hotel room. That's the first thing. You're not going to quickly run immediately for the Kaaba. You want to make sure you do this right. Otherwise, you're going to be in problems afterwards. You get to your room, make sure all your important documents, your money, all of that is in your safe. You put it in the safe. The only thing you need to have in ihram, you're going to have this belt on. And what does this have in it? You're going to have your room card, your hotel room card. You're going to have some cash in there, maybe 100 riyals. You don't need it more than that. And you're going to have, that's it. That's it. Your card and your money. You're not going to bring your passport down. If you do and you lose it, mashallah, you're going to become a resident of Makkah. You ain't coming back anytime soon. I'm just kidding. So don't do that. You don't want to lose that. Other than that, that's it. And we're going to rest if we need to. If you get to Makkah in a time where you're very tired, you get there like, let's say we get there in the evening, Maghrib time, and people are tired. Obviously, you went on a journey on a bus, it takes a couple of hours. But the fact that you've been moving non-stop and traveling, people are going to be tired. So you're going to rest. You're going to rest at Makkah. And can you rest during ihram? Are you allowed to rest? Of course you're allowed to rest. You can take your ihram off. You can leave the bottom part, of course. You want to take a shower, you can take a shower. The only thing is, be careful when you're drying yourself as not to dry so much that your hair is coming out. Okay? And be careful not to use any shampoo or any soap unless you have without scent, yani unscented. So just be careful about that. And when you're resting, whether it's in the bus or whether it's in the hotel, don't cover your head like a blanket. Okay? You can't cover your head. You need to leave that uncovered. Okay? What else is there? So once you're well rested, once you're ready to go, then we're going to go together as a group, inshallah. Because whatever we do, we're going to decide together. We're going to go as a group together. We're going to go straight to the haram. But we will start together, but we're not going to end together. Because it's impossible to stay together. That's why we're learning this. If you think we're all going to hold hands the whole time and go in a group like the Malaysians do and Indonesians, you're kidding. You're dreaming. They train for that for like months. They're experts. We don't do that. And we don't do that for a reason, is because everyone can take their own time. We're not there to time everybody. We are not there. It is a individual ibadah. It is not something we do in jama'at. Although some people like to do that, stay together, that's up to them. That's fine. But we don't do that. So now, we're going, and alhamdulillah, we're well rested. Now we're starting our umrah. Now look, every single masjid has a tahiyyah, has a form of respect and honor when you go to that masjid. What do? You pray 2 rakats, tahiyyatul masjid. That's for every single masjid except for Masjid al-Haram, except for this masjid. The tahiyyah for this masjid is what? It is tawaf. That's the best, most honorable thing you can do in this masjid. In Masjid al-Haram, it is the tawaf. And that's how we're going to start. Once we make our dua, then we start our tawaf. Now look, how do we start? We start right there from the Hajar al-Aswad, the starting point. What do? You do istilam. Istilam means you basically, the istilam, the right way to do it is to go up to the Hajar al-Aswad, the rock, and to kiss it. Can we really do that now? Almost impossible. There's too many people there. Even if you go at the least busiest time, it is impossible. Unless COVID happens and you were a worker there, and then mashallah, then you're lucky. Then you can do all you want. Allah forbid COVID ever happens again, and But the point is that there's so many people, it's very difficult to go up to the ark. So what's the next best thing that you do? You can take a staff and then you can point your staff to it. That's also very difficult because there's too many people. So now what are we left with? We basically make an ishara. We do we point towards it and we kiss our hands. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Like as if we are touching the rock, like this. This is how you start. This is called istilam. So you do istilam in the beginning, and after 7 rounds, at the end, you do istilam one more time. So 8 times you did istilam, and you finish 7 rounds. Now 7 rounds going around is 1 tawaf. That's called tawaf once. And the tawaf is not finished with the 7 rounds. What do you have to do to complete the tawaf? 2 rakat salah. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. Once you're done the tawaf, you have to pray 2 rakat salah, which you should pray. The Prophet ﷺ prayed behind Maqam Ibrahim. But again, because there are thousands of people the entire time, even during, actually, that's in Taraweeh that they do tawaf, even during Taraweeh, but you cannot do it during a Fard Salah, of course. So, because there's so many people, you can pray anywhere in the direction of Maqam Ibrahim in that area, or wherever you find a spot, because we do not want to inconvenience anyone. Okay, you are going to complete a huge ibadah, but it is fard to respect and honor your Muslim brothers and sisters. It is haram that you cause them inconvenience or you hurt them. So we want to make sure we don't hurt or cause inconvenience to anyone, okay? So this is going to be the tawaf. Once you're done that tawaf, the next thing you're going to go is towards the, okay, sorry, let me finish this part. Ramal. What is Ramal? So when the men, the first 3 rounds of tawaf, they're going to expose the shoulder and they're going to walk like firmly as if they're like soldiers. Okay, this is part of the sunnah. It's the first 3 walks. The rest of the 4 you walk normally. In the first 3 you walk like a little bit in a style of, and it's like kind of like, almost like soldiers, they march. Almost like this, but not exactly. You're trying to show that you are strong because this is what the companions did in the beginning. So we're trying to imitate that basically. Okay, that's just the first. Again, then they show you parts of the Kaaba. This is the multazam. People are, it's amazing when you see the amount of people like attached to the Kaaba, crying and making dua. It really makes you think how people around the world are coming and seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. It's amazing to see that. These are people just holding on. Why are they doing this? Can anybody tell me why they're doing this? Take a guess. Yes. That's correct. This place, du'as are accepted. So they're all crying unto Allah. Nobody really is hurting each other, but they're all just trying to touch that Kaaba. It's amazing. The feeling, the seeing, witnessing is incredible. That's the hatim there. If you pray 2 rakats in there, it's a place of acceptance of du'as. They still open it till this day, but only a few times during the day. If you're able to go in, alhamdulillah. If not, outside your du'as are still accepted, okay? And still a sacred place. The entire Makkah is a sacred place, including the city. So if you're in the city, if you're in a house, if you're in a hotel, the entire place is sacred, which means you keep yourself engaged in ibadah and not go on TikTok for hours because that's just going to waste our time. You understand? All right. Again, more pictures of the hatim. That's one of the imams. That's one of the workers. How fortunate. Okay. Now you're done your tawaf. You're going towards sa'i. In between, you're going to find the well of Zamzam. And now basically we don't have to see the well. It's covered. So we see the bottles there, as you can see. And now you make, drink some Zamzam after your tawaf. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say? That the Zamzam is drank and the dua is for what it is drank for. In other words, you drink with the intention that Allah forgives you, or you're making a dua and you drink, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept your dua at that time. Only the believer drinks to his fill, and the munafiq, doesn't drink much. So you're talking about you should openly drink. If you can drink in 3, 1, 2, 3 cups, 1 cup, 5 cups, drink as much as you can. And make dua afterwards. Okay? This is one of the du'as. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan wasi'a wa shifa'an min kulli da'. All right, next thing. 2 rakats behind Maqam Ibrahim if you're able to. Then you have this. This is one of the pictures of Safa and Marwa. Obviously it doesn't look like that now. It's all covered. This is a picture of showing how you do the Safa and Marwa. Now, let me come back here for a second. Okay, so look, one thing I want to mention is when we're doing tawaf, okay, I'm not going to go too long here. When we're doing the tawaf, what are we doing? We're doing an ibadah. But this is an ibadah in which you're able to speak, okay? You're able to make different types of du'as. This is the time you want to be engaged in du'a and tasbih and dhikr and tilawa and all of these things. Because that will help you to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you do it properly, you can feel the change, you can feel the spirituality. You don't want to be on the phone, you don't want to just be taking pictures, that's the last thing you want to do, or be on FaceTime. Otherwise, you're going to see people just walking around FaceTiming, you know, they're showing the Kaaba and just having a regular conversation. I mean, what's the point of doing that? You could do that anywhere in the world. Why would you go all the way to the most sacred land and then do something like that, right? Obviously, we don't look at what other people are doing. We don't want to look down on anybody else. But we want to make sure that we don't go all the way there and then end up doing something like that. Because first of all, you're taking pictures and video, that's for your own memory, right? But you want to kind of limit that as much as possible. Why? Because otherwise you get too into that. And our purpose is to learn, get nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you want to be busy in that. If you do the tawaf properly, it's like every cycle is washing away our sins. And every circle we're making a new dua. Some scholars, what they would do is the first tawaf, they'll make dua for their parents. The second tawaf, they make dua for their family, their wives, their children. The next tawaf, they'll make dua for their teachers. The next dua, they make dua for the things of this dunya. Then the things of the akhirah. Like this, for every circle, they're doing something separate. One of the scholars, one circle, they're just mentioning the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So think of the amazing things that you can do during this tawaf. We're supposed to be looking forward and making dua to Allah. You know, at times, okay, you can look at the Kaaba, but continue your focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Instead of just staring at the Kaaba the whole time or looking around. Because again, there is this place where the whole world is there. Brothers and sisters are there. So you have to keep your gazes down. You have to make sure you keep your mind on your ibadah. Even there in front of the Kaaba, the shaitan is still there. You know, it's not like the shaitan went away. So you want to make sure you're protecting yourself and keeping your mind on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the entire time. The next place to do the same is Safa and Marwa as well. Okay? This is the place where we remember Hajara alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, and their sacrifices and what they did to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what she had done from Safa to Marwa, back and forth. And we're imitating this. So we're going to go and we're going to do tasbih, we're going to do dhikr. We're trying not to get into long conversations at this time. You know what I mean? So you're continuing to keep yourself busy. Now, this chart here is showing how you start. You start from Safa, that's 1. Going back, that's 2. And like this, you do 7 rounds. Going once is counting as 1. Not going once and twice is counting as. So don't get confused. It's very simple. Some people end up doing double. You don't have to do double, okay? You start from Safa and you end at Marwa, okay? This is one of the, and if you zoom out, there's like 3 floors now. There's 1 floor for wheelchairs in the middle. The second floor, I've seen people with like, there's also these like cars now. They have all this, it's you know, incredible. The amount of provisions they have now. This is one of the lights there, you under the green light. So Hajara alayhi salam, this denotes the part where she kind of, walked quickly, very swiftly at this point because of coming down from the mountain. So what do the men do? The men, they can quicken their pace, almost like have a jog, like a jog, but not like a full-on sprint where you're just like racing. You don't have to do that. The sisters just walk normally because there's brothers around, and this is part of modesty and haya. Okay, so the sisters don't do that. This is mainly for the brothers. All right, next thing here. So you have done your sa'i, Safa and Marwa. You've done your tawaf. What's left now? Excuse me. What is left now is to do the shaving or the trimming. For brothers, as soon as you come out, you're going to have hundreds of people there who are going to be waiting for you to take you to the hotel. You go inside the haram to the basements, and there's barber shops like endless. And they're all, anywhere you go, they're all good. They all charge the same amount of money. It's probably like 15 or 10 riyals, something like that. Yeah, very minimal. And then you go there and you tell them you have two choices, either trim or shave. Trimming is rewarding and shaving is more rewarding. So either what you do, do it. Okay, let them do it. They know exactly what they're doing. Once you're done this qasr or halaq, you are, mashallah, congratulations, you finish your umrah. For the sisters, they cannot do their own hair. If the sisters are done, the husband can cut the hair, and for them it's just basically like an inch at the end of their hair. That means this sister now has come out of her ihram and she's finished. Now that sister can help the other sisters. So if there's multiple sisters in the group, the one that has done their ihram, has gotten their hair, she can help the other sisters and get that done. Okay? She cannot do if she is still in ihram herself. So hopefully that's clear. If you have any questions at the end, you can ask. So here it is. All right. That's another picture there. It's just trimming, and that's it. Now, again, general umrah, this is what it is. Number one, you clean your body, you make the niyyah, then you put on the ihram, you pray 2 rakat nafil, and then this whole thing right here. At the end, you're done, remove ihram. Now, quick question some people ask is, what if I'm doing the tawaf and in the middle I have to use the bathroom? Go use the bathroom, take your time. Come back, continue from where you left. Oh, you know what? We started 4 rounds and I got really hungry. Go and eat and come back. You can continue from where you left off. You don't have to start all over again. Okay? So that's basically it. And if you're really tired, it's okay. Take rest and come back and do your tawaf. Okay? So that's basically it. These are historical places that we do intend to visit. We'll have a bus to take us around. Part of the birthplace of the Prophet ﷺ. It's actually like a library now. The cave of Hira. Now, we're going to see the cave of Hira from outside. We're not all going to go on, that's on your free time. You're going to have free time, free days, and on those free days you can do whatever you like. There are many different museums around the Haramain. You can check those out. I have gone on the top of Cave Hira. It's like 25 to 2,700 feet. It takes a little bit of time. If you're not someone who's that healthy that cannot make that, then don't do that. They have like a huge new museum now by Hira, and now they're trying to make like a route where there can be like a what is it? A tram, like a lift that can take you. What is it? Cable car, yeah. They're doing something where they can easily go because everybody wants to go up there. Okay, you have the cave of Thor. You have many different places. All of these are just mentioning the different masajid there. All right. Masjid al-Jinn, and everybody's interested in going there. They're all different masajid. We're going to visit the cemeteries from outside. Now, when we get to Medina, it didn't really show Medina in this slide, did it? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Tawaf al-Wada, this is for Hajj. Okay, now we go visit Medina. So we're actually going to go to Medina first, as mentioned. So when we're going to Medina, what's the etiquette? What should we do? We should increase our, salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ. Make lots of durood. Okay, the shortest durood, the shortest form is what? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which means may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and salutation be upon the Prophet alaihi salam. And we try to increase in that as much as we can. What else should we do? We should have a book on sunnahs. What are the beautiful sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ? Learn about those sunnahs. What else can we do in our free time? Have a little book on the seerah. Learn about the life of the Prophet ﷺ. These are the times to learn, because when you read about it and learn more and more, and then you go visit those places, it really increases your iman. It makes you stronger of a Muslim. It gives you that appreciation. What is this picture that we've seen our whole lives? This is the Rawdah. This is the actual house of the Prophet ﷺ at his time. This was the house of Aisha radiallahu anha, where he passed away. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away in her lap, And so this is the place of burial. It's that first and the second and third. That is the resting place of Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma. This is where they are. So when we go and say salam and we visit, we are saying salam to the Prophet ﷺ and to his companions. Now the hadith, they're full of virtues and benefits. One of them, the Prophet ﷺ says that the person who has visited me after my lifetime is as if he visited me during my lifetime. Yani the amount of reward that you get for going and visiting the Prophet ﷺ. And this is an honor for us to be able to go and visit the best of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. When you go there, you go with, obviously with your best clothes on, with your, taking a shower, making sure you are having the best of perfumes that you can get. Obviously everything is there. You can find, that there as well. And obviously after Mecca, after the Kaaba, it is without a doubt the most virtuous place on earth, the resting place of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, he also mentioned that between my house, which is there, to the minbar of his, the pulpit of the Prophet, that is called Rawdatun min Riyad al-Jannah. He said this is a garden from the gardens of paradise. So there's many different meanings, and one of them is the sakina, the sukoon, the peace, the tranquility that you feel is that which you will feel in paradise. One of them is literally that part of that land could be from Jannah. There's so many different meanings, but this is a place that everyone yearns to pray just 2 rakat or 4 rakat salah in there and make dua. So for that, because the whole entire ummah wants to go, there's millions of people around the world that are trying to go there, that they have made where you can go by appointment on Nusuk. So I don't know if we mentioned Nusuk yet. It's an app, and you will have to book your umrah from that too. If they check, usually they don't check anymore. But you want to make sure that the day or that night that you're going for umrah, it should be at least on that date. You understand? So then you can do your umrah. If they check from you, then they'll let you go. For Medina, if you have to do ziyarah, you have to make sure it's that day and also within the 4-hour period that you're going to go. So if you have the app, inshallah, will all help to make sure that you can get your appointment done so that you can go and do the ziyarah. This is called ziyarah, the visitation to the Prophet ﷺ. So you want to make sure that we book this together and that you're able to get in line. And there's different timings for men and women. So that we'll all, inshallah, we'll be told when we can go. Obviously, we're going to go with the WhatsApp group, so everybody's going to have communication together, inshallah. This is Riyadul Jannah. Okay, this is one of the pictures. Back then, it used to be the green carpet. Now, they changed that because people were going crazy over green carpet. I think they made the whole area green carpet now. A lot of people do some crazy things, sometimes out of emotion, sometimes out of love. So that's there. Now, here in this picture, they're showing you all the different pillars and what they mean. It's in the next slide. But every pillar has history and has significance. The minbar, every part of this is Ashab al-Suffah used to sit here. The people of the poor people, amongst them was Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh. These were people who were just dependent on all the Muslims that would stay there. So there's some incredible history there. And look, in this slide, by the way, if anybody wants these slides, I can send it to them. It's a very old slide. Ustuwana means the pillar. So there's the pillar of Hanana. There's a whole story behind it. Every single pillar has its own history and its amazing reward by it. This is the station of Ashab al-Suffah. The poor of the Sahaba would sit here in this platform. Obviously, it didn't look like this back in those days, but this was the place. And there's virtues for here. This is Jannatul Baqi. This is the cemetery that was outside of the city of the Prophet ﷺ. And after every single Fajr, the brothers will be allowed to, they go, usually for the woman it's closed, they're not allowed to enter that, but they can see and observe from outside as well. What do we do when we go in? We're walking and we're observing, we're looking around. There are more than 10,000 companion Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ buried here. And the great scholars of our Ummah and all of the most greatest of the people of the Ummah are buried here. If anybody has a chance, they pass away and they're buried here, this is the best place on the earth that you can be buried. Because when you stand up on the Day of Judgment, you're going to be standing with the best of all people. Okay, so this is the place. This is Jannatul Baqi is the name. There's other names. There's many different names for this graveyard. So if you hear it with a different name, that's the same place. But Jannatul Baqi is the place that is most famously known for. Okay. And these are the first people after the Prophet ﷺ that are going to be raised on the Day of Judgment. He's going to be the first to come out of his grave, and all of the companions, and then the rest of the people of the earth. This is Masjid al-Quba, which also we're going to visit. This is actually the first masjid in Islam. The very first masjid that the Prophet ﷺ built before even reaching Medina was this masjid. And this masjid has many virtues. The Quran talks about this masjid as well. The Quran says this is a masjid in which people love to cleanse themselves. And this is a masjid that was built upon taqwa. So this is definitely a masjid that we want to visit. The Prophet ﷺ built it with his companions, with his own hands, and said if you pray 2 rakat of nafil in this masjid, like you make wudu from your hotel and you pray 2 rakat, it is equal to 1 umrah. That is how much reward you get for just praying 2 rakats in this masjid. And alhamdulillah, our travel group, Aqra Travel, they have made like an arrangement for us that across the street from this masjid, there was a garden of the Prophet ﷺ, one garden in which he visited, and he drank from its water and he took rest in it. We have a chance to go there. I think we'll have a dinner there as well. We'll have a dinner at that amazing spot. So that's something that's very unique to our group. Not too many groups get to go there. This is Masjid Qiblatain. By the way, there's going to be a lot of lecture in the bus. I'm going to tell you when we reach all these places and the history behind it. I'm going to let you know about all that, but I'm just giving you a heads up here. This Qiblatain means 2 qiblas. This is the masjid in which they faced a certain direction, which was what? Masjid al-Aqsa. And during the prayer, the direction changed because of the surah and the ayahs that were revealed. There's a lot of history behind it, I'm just letting you know. This is Mount Uhud. This is the Uhud mountain. I believe this is right outside of Medina, and we're going to visit this as well. This is where the Battle of Uhud happened. There's a lot of history. We're going to mention that. These are all different masajid. All of these have a lot of significance to them, and that's basically it. Okay, so let's go back all the way to the front to show the beautiful picture of the Kaaba here. And now we can go over. Oh yeah, what else? One more thing here. What shall we do when we are in Medina other than salutations and durood? Obviously, you try to pray all your salah in the masjid. Now, if you're not able to, even though we're going to be right in front, there is a lot of walking. There is a lot to do there. You do get tired. Don't overwhelm yourself to the point where you get sick. Okay, we are weak. We are not all strong. We try our best. One of the best ways to do it is, come from maybe Asr Salah or maybe Maghrib and stay. At least stay from Maghrib to Isha. So you can get the 2 jama'as. Obviously, you want to try to make sure that you come for Fajr because there's no Salah all the way to Dhuhr. So you want to make it for these loud Salah at least. And better than that is that you come from Fajr, you get rest, you have breakfast, you have a buffet in both Makkah and Medina, and then you try to stay as much as you can closest to the masjid. If you're able to pray all 5 times salah with jama'ah, there's a great reward for those that get, 40 salah. 40 salah is, how many salahs that you have to do? Is that 5 days? That's 5 days, right? No, that's 7 days. 7 or 8 days, yeah, sorry. So usually the people that are there longest, they stay for like a whole month. They get both 40 salah in Makkah and in Medina, which is an amazing reward for that. There's separate rewards for all of this. So inshallah, there's a lot more to talk about. But again, because of the time, and inshallah we're going to be there, we're going to discuss a lot more in detail. Then we'll come back to this, okay? So, questions. Bismillah, if anybody has any questions. Yes, I was going to show you about the ihram, how to wear the ihram, for those of you that want to know. So, it's very simple. Basically, you just, it's a simple cloth. I'll show you the bottom first. Let me show you the bottom. So look, first of all, when you're putting on your ihram, when you're taking a shower, you've done the shower, you have your deodorant, you want to make sure you use petroleum jelly or Vaseline, okay? You're going to use Vaseline, the growing area, you're going to make sure you have enough on because you have nothing else underneath except for this cloth. So if you don't have Vaseline on, you don't apply that properly, you're going to be very much in pain. Like you get dry and it starts getting rashes and it's just very difficult. So you want to put Vaseline on. A lot of people don't know that. They make a mistake and they get in trouble. So after that, then you applied perfume on your body, not on the ihram. You don't spray or put ittar on this. Okay, you can tie it like this, spread out a little bit, and then you can just fold. You fold it like this and you're done. There's different ways to do it. This is one way, okay? And then there's people who want to do it in a different way where they're basically going like this, and then they do a little fold-in like this, and then they do like this, okay? That's one way. Then you can use a safety pin. You can do all of that. And then you make sure you have your belt on properly. Just make sure your ihram is good enough that you can walk. You don't make it so tight that you can't move. You do it enough that it's on properly. Because if it's not, it's going to be a big problem for everybody. All right, and then you have your top part of the ihram, and you're covered like this. That's it. Okay? And you have your ihram on, that's it. So, okay, that's it. When you do the ramal, basically what is exposed is your right shoulder, like this. Your right shoulder is exposed. And that's it. Alright, this is a good ihram, mashallah. The ones that Akra Chaba gives us pretty nice and cool. It doesn't cause too much sweat. It's nice, and you want to make sure you keep it as clean as possible. And that's basically it. I mean, you just have to be careful not to put on perfume afterwards or scented soap or something scented. A lot of people make that mistake unnecessarily. Now, the most important thing I forgot to mention about ihram is that you are in a state of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't want to argue with people. You don't want to swear. You don't want to get upset and angry. For a person that gets angry easily, keep yourself busy in dhikr and remembrance of Allah. Do not fight with people. Don't get impatient. Your patience is going to be tested. If you're in ihram and you swear and you fight with people and you start doing all that, your ihram's done. You lose that reward. So don't do that. You already have to be careful not to sin while you're doing such a great worship. In the state of ihram, that's like double the protection. Now you have to make sure even more carefully you don't hurt anyone, not even a fly. You don't kill a fly, you don't kill anyone, you don't do anything like that. You're careful. Inshallah, if we do it like this, we'll see extreme benefit in our umrah. You know, inshallah, after the umrah, one of the signs of acceptance of umrah is that you get closer to Allah. Your life is better, you're a better Muslim, you're a better human being. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this journey easy for us and to accept from us, inshallah. Okay, may Allah ta'ala make it easy. Now, if there's any logistical questions or any Islamic questions, anything about what was said, you guys can say it now, inshallah. Anybody have any other questions? Yes, brother. Tayyiba, you want to come up here and talk to us about the visa, or just let us know? So they're going to get their visa a few days before? You're going to issue it? Couple of days. So maybe at least 2-3 days before? 2-3 days before? Maybe day of, day before? By Monday. This Monday, Tuesday. So hopefully, inshallah, this coming Monday, Tuesday, you guys we should have our visas. All right? You can print it out, yeah. That's it. Or you have it on your on the WhatsApp. They have a picture of it too, no? You should take a picture of it. Okay. Yes. If you pray, one more time, sorry. Yes. After Asr. Can you pray 2 rakats? If it's very close to Maghrib, then you should wait. If it's close to Maghrib, you should wait. Pray Maghrib, then do the 2 rakats. Because we're not allowed to pray at the makruh timing. And if it gets very close to Asr, and you finish your tawaf, wait, sit down, do dhikr, make dua, pray Maghrib, and then pray your 2 rakats of tawaf. Very good question. How about if you're done your umrah, but you didn't trim or shave yet? Can you do that? Can you wait? Yes, you can. You can wait for 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. You can wait as long as you want. You can go have breakfast, you can rest, and then do all of that. But remember one thing, until you don't trim or shave or you know, you're still in the state of ihram. So that's one thing that you have to remember. And until you're in the state of ihram, you know, you have to be careful. You can't do certain things, right? You can't do certain things. Yes. Yeah. Right. So let's say we are taking the train, okay, which we probably are. I'm sorry, I don't have all the logistics in front of me. I forget that. But if we, what is that? Right. So if we are going by train, then in that case, you want to make sure that you have your ihram on from your hotel in Medina, and you make your intention, and you can pray 2 rakats from there. You don't have to do it at the miqat. You have to make sure you do it before or at the miqat. Afterwards, then you're in trouble. So if you made your intention and you started, I've seen people in Masjid al-Nabawi, there's people walking around with ihrams all the time, meaning they're all ready to go. Because, as soon as you get on that train, you don't know, I'm not sure if they stop. I don't think they stop there. No, they go direct. Right, so that's why it's important. Everybody's in ihram at that time and they're doing their talbiyah, okay, from the hotel. So that way you don't have to worry the rest of the time. Yes, yes. The best time, so that's a great question. Now look, now for the last few years, the rule has been set. Nobody is allowed to be close to the Kaaba except for people who are doing Umrah. Now the problem in that, I mean, it's not a problem, but the inconvenience is that people who are brothers, they have to be in their ihram, and that's how you know that they're doing Umrah. Sisters, they can go anytime because you don't know if a sister's in ihram or not. So the sisters are very fortunate, but then again, the sisters can't go by themselves. They have to go with their husbands or their mahram, right? Unless their mahram is there, I mean, in the masjid, then they can go ahead and they can do that. So sisters have it very easy there. Now what some brothers are doing, because they're only there for a few days, they just, even though when they're done their ihram, they're done their umrah, the next day they'll come back with the ihram on. Some people have said that that's like cheating, or why are you doing such a deception? And I mean, if you ask me, I'm not saying anything about that, because they're only there for the 2 or 3 days, 4 days. Realistically, you can only be in umrah to get close to the Kaaba. Because once you're done in ihram, and that's another thing I want to mention. Great question, because that leads us to one big problem. What's the problem? If you're in ihram and you're doing umrah, you cannot come up to the Kaaba and touch and start making dua at that time. What's the problem? Who's going to tell me? What's the problem with that? Yes, the Kaaba is heavily perfumed. The Kaaba cloth has the most amazing ittar on it, which is great. You could touch it as much as you want, but if you're doing it during ihram, your ihram, now you have to give a penalty. So you do not come near the Kaaba and touch it while you're doing your tawaf and you're doing your umrah. Once you're done the umrah, then you can go back and then you can pray in front of it, and then you can do that. You understand? No, they'll let you. You still have your, I'm talking about once you're done your umrah, then you can come back with the ihram. That's the thing I'm trying to tell you, that you can still come in with your ihram. Or if you're done the next day and you come in with your ihram, I'm not saying that it's haram to do that, because you're only there for 2 days. You understand? Now, let's say you're done and the next day you put on your regular clothes. Can you still do the tawaf? Yes, but not from in front of the Kaaba. You can do it on the first floor. You could do it on the first floor. You understand? So that's what it is. You're not allowed in the main floor in front of the Kaaba unless you have ihram on. So do you get what I'm trying to say now? You guys understand what I'm saying? Yes. Yes, you can. Can you use the same ihram? Yes, you can. Just make sure that it's still clean and it's, usable, yeah. When we go as a group, we're doing that first umrah and that's it. But you're allowed to do as many umrahs as you want. What do the scholars say? It's better you do one umrah with quality, and then the rest of the time that you do tawaf and you make sure you're praying your 5 times. That's better. However, if there's someone that has the strength and the ability to do it, and they want to do it for example, they want to do it for their parents, either they passed away or they're too old to do it, they can do it for them. So then in that case, what do you have to do? Then you go to Masjid Aisha, and then you take a trip there, and you put your ihram on again, make the intention, and you come back, and then you could do another umrah. You understand? So can you have multiple intentions during one umrah? Yes, you can. Although it's better that you do one umrah, for example, for your parents or for your mother or for father, like that. That's the best. Yeah. Yes. You can if you want. You can. Of course. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most generous. Why not? You can do it. But that first umrah, if you haven't done umrah yourself, then that first one should be for yourself. Then you could do another one for them. Yes. So Jummah, alhamdulillah, we're going to be blessed in this trip that we're going to get a Jummah in Medina and a Jummah in Mecca. Now the thing is, because of the crowd, you're going to have to leave the hotel room not at 11:30 or 12 o'clock. You're going to have to leave at like 10:30 if you want to even be inside the masjid. So you want to make sure that you're washed up, you have your ghusl, you have your everything is on, you're ready to go, and you've used the bathroom, you made wudu properly, and then you go early as possible so you can get a space inside both the harams, both the haramain. You want to make sure. And then you stay there, and mashallah, after the khutbah is done, it's pretty early, like around now it's probably going to be 11 something, 11:50, 11:45, the khutbah will probably start, and by like 12:30 you're already out. I don't know exact timing, don't quote me on this, but the khutbah is very short. The salah the Jummah is very short. They don't make it long because that puts people in difficulty. Even their salah, other than Isha and Fajr, even Isha and Fajr sometimes are not too long, but sometimes they are. But those are expected to be long. The rest of the salah, they make it very quick. Because there's so many people that have to move around. They don't want to keep people in difficulty. What else? For which masjid? For which masjid? Masjid al-Haram? That's after your umrah is done. Yes, then you have to pray on the second floor. And even in Makkah, if you don't go early before salah, like if you're going 10 minutes before the salah starts, don't expect to get in the masjid. You're going to be on the streets. You need to go early, 40 minutes, 35, at least 40 minutes. If you go an hour before, you'll get as close as you want. You can go on the roof. If you go last minute, they'll tell you to go on the roof. So you keep going like 3-4 floors, and you go on top of the roof. Anywhere you pray in Makkah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Good question. In sa'i, you don't have to be in wudu. You should, but you don't have to. But tawaf, you should have wudu. Tawaf, you should have wudu. Sa'i, you don't. So let's say after tawaf, you pass gas, that's cool. You can finish. You're fine to go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about here, on the rooftop here. Like all around the Kaaba, yes, on top. Not on this is second floor, on the third floor. Yeah. You can pray there. And those 3 domes on top of the haram? Usually you're in that area. That's like at the end of the masjid on one side of it, and it's right in front of the clock tower, that area. So usually you're put to that area. But Masjid al-Haram now has expanded to an extent where you cannot imagine. You have to go out on a drone, maybe 1,000 feet up, you can see the entire place. Unbelievable the amount of work that they have done. And to my understanding, after like 30 years, they have just completed like a huge phase, in which means that they're not doing as much construction, although they're still doing construction for like details. It's incredible how much work they've done. Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good points. I love these because they're helping us to understand what we should do. Now, if you went all the way to Makkah and you got all the way to the Haram, and now you're going to pray in the hotel, that's like, what can you say about that? That's like going to a football game. You drove, halfway through let's say I drove from LA all the way to, Florida to watch a game. And I watched the game on a TV right in front of the stadium. The stadium was right there, and I watched it on TV. Like, how can you do? Now, don't assume it. What I'm trying to say, I'm not picking on those people who are not able to go for every salah. What I'm trying to say is, if you can go inside the haram and pray at least 3 out of the 5, if not at least 2 salahs with jama'ah, you must do that. But for the other prayers, like let's say dhuhr is too hot for you. It's too hot to go out, which usually is the case. Okay, then in that case, there's a masjid in each one of the buildings. The building that we're going in, there is a masjid there. If you can go to that masjid and pray the Jamaat from there, it's counted as you're praying with the haram. If you cannot even do that much and you're very weak, Allah knows our situation, then you can pray from your hotel room too. But you cannot pray in Jamaat like that. The Jamaat cannot be done from the hotel, your own room. The Jama'ah can be done in the masjid that's facing the haram that you can hear. That's still somewhat counted. And some scholars say that it's not. But wallahu alam, it's okay. Because you can see the haram and you can hear it, then you're part of it. Okay, as far as everything else, it is part of the haram. Like even if you're in the bottom floor of the Makkah mall, everybody prays there. So the whole building, everything becomes a mall. I mean, everything becomes a masjid, excuse me. Becomes a masjid. Yes. All the white marble is masjid. That's all masjid. Haram, yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah, nowadays they have a huge warning sign there that this is the imam stands, don't pass this line. Now if they pass that line, then they're ruining their own prayer, you know. Okay, now we have to go with one more thing that I forgot to say. Go with the mind and a heart of generosity. Don't go there to hustle and bargain the whole time. Obviously, we shouldn't be, fools either. Like if somebody's charging 5 times the amount, that's different. But if they're charging a little bit extra, give them extra. You know what I mean? For us, it's not much. For them, it can make their whole day. It can make their month. Imagine giving a little bit extra. It's going to make it for them. So be kind, especially when you see, there's going to be a lot of vendors on the ground. They have like some things they want to sell. These people are very honorable. They don't want to beg. They need it. They don't want to beg. They want to do something so that they can earn a halal living. And even though they're in that part of the world, there are many poor people like that. So those people that are on the ground and you see them, they're trying not to beg from them, give them with your heart. Give sadaqah. Give as much as sadaqah as possible. Bring a whole bunch of cash just for that reason. And have it in bundles if you can, like a 10 riyal thing. Give 10, 10, 20, 30, whatever you can give. But be careful by the Kaaba not to give people openly, because you're going to have a line behind you. You have those workers that are working in the different colors. Give them, but give them secretly. If you give openly, there's going to be a lineup. Like 20 people are going to get in line behind you. I've had that happen. It's crazy. You don't want to end up doing that. All right? So, but give with that intention. Give people in the, restaurants. Give people in the shops that you're going to. Give them and give them. Okay? Inshallah. Any other questions, guys? All right, at this point, I think, inshallah, we're going to give out. You have the ihrams for the people to give out? Okay, inshallah. Now, the other thing is, speaking of generosity, I have, actually not speaking of generosity, but I'm not trying to call myself generous, but I'm trying to tell you one thing, that when you go and you buy dates from there as well, there are nice dates that you can get. The best dates that you're going to get from Medina is ajwa dates, and then there's sukkari. There's these 2 different kind of very good. I put them on that chair there. There's some plates. If anybody wants, please take. There's 2 large boxes there. Everybody take a few. Inshallah, take it with you. And the other thing is, you're gonna have a chance to purchase those. Don't get like so much that you can't even travel with it, but get a good amount. And every person that has a passport will get a bottle of Zamzam. So if there's 3 people going, 3 passports, you get 3 bottles of Zamzam. They'll give you at the Jeddah airport. So you don't have to worry about having Zamzam, carrying it with you. They'll have it closed in a box, and that will be part of your luggage. And so alhamdulillah, you get that. All right? But as long as you're in Makkah and Medina, drink as much as Zamzam as you can. Inshallah. It's a cause of shifa and healing. All right, guys. I think that's been an hour and a half. Any other questions? I'm here for you. Let me know. All right? Jazakallah khair, guys. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for us. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Inshallah, on your way out, we have the packages for our Umrah group. We're going to take those packages, and if anybody has questions, I'm here, inshallah. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.